UFC Fight Night, Adesanya vs. Piper just wrapped up. Sadly, my boy got slimed out in the main event. I will not be making a video talking about it. I don't want to think about it, and I want to leave it in the past. So today, I'm going to be going over the unranked fighter in every division that I think has the best chance of winning the belt. Now, I want to clarify. This doesn't mean that I think that they'll be a champion. This doesn't even mean I think they'll be top 5. But it's more if I had to pick one unranked fighter in every division that has the highest chance of winning the belt, it would be this person. So starting with flyweight, I went with Joseph Morales. Honestly, it's the case for most of the divisions in this video, but I don't think any unranked flyweight really has a chance of winning the belt right now. But if I had to pick one, it would be Joseph Morales. It was between him and Imanol Rodriguez, and obviously the Ultimate Fighter, he beat Imanol Rodriguez. So I went with Joseph Morales. He's a good fighter. He's on a very good run. He submitted both of his last 2 opponents, and he has 2 losses. One of them is to basically prime Davison Figueiredo, maybe a little bit before prime, which is not a bad loss to have at all. I don't think that's a bad look. And, obviously beating Matt Schnell isn't anything to marvel at, but I think he's good. I think he'll make a decent run to at least the top 10 in flyweight. But like I said, nobody who's unranked in flyweight really has a chance of winning the belt right now. The title picture's super crowded. Flyweight's probably the best it's ever been, with Manel Kape, Joshua Van, Pantoja, Tatsuro Taira, Loner Kavanaugh. It's a great division, probably my favorite. But Joseph Morales, I think out of every unranked flyweight, has the best chance. And then bantamweight. This one was kind of hard to pick. I obviously didn't really think any unranked bantamweights had a chance at winning the belt, but it was more difficult because I was deciding between 2 people. One of them is moving up to bantamweight, was a flyweight, which is Rafael Estevam. I don't know how to say his name, but I think I got that right. But I chose not to go with him because he's kind of unproven in the divisions. So I want to see how he does against Ethan Ewing first. So instead, I went with Elijah Smith. Now, do I think this guy is a future champ? No, not at all. Do I think he could maybe make a run to the top 5? Sure. I mean, I wouldn't bet on it, but I think he has a chance. But Elijah Smith is a good fighter. I mean, I was considering maybe Alexandre Topuria, but he hasn't really wowed me yet. I think Elijah Smith's performances have been more impressive, considering who he's fought. So Young Yu is nobody to scoff at. He was undefeated in the UFC, and Elijah Smith submitted him. I mean, it's not a easy thing to do, and he lost the first round too, which is a big thing. Like, he lost the first round, and it didn't completely kill his confidence. He was able to make the right adjustments, and he was able to come back and finish So Young Yu, which is a good win. And then obviously his slam knockout. Everyone knows that about him. But Elijah Smith is talented. I think he'll be a good, decent bantamweight. And then featherweight. Listen, my next there's a few picks in this video. People are gonna see the picks and they're gonna say, "Oh, recency bias. You're only saying this because they just had impressive performances." I'm telling you, go back to my last video. Go back to the prediction video. I predicted each of these people's fights spot on to a T. Even to the round that they got the finish in, I predicted them all perfectly. So you can't say recency bias. I know these fighters. I know how good they are. Featherweight, I went with, I don't know how to say his name, Larion Douglas. Now, he is a dog. He hits like a truck. I knew he was powerful, but he was sitting down Erosa with jabs. He threw 3 jabs that put Erosa on his ass right before he knocked him out. He looked crazy. I see some holes in his game. Like I said this before, I see some holes in his game that could end up with him getting caught. But honestly, I'm even higher on him after last night. I don't think anybody's gonna have a chance to catch him until at least the top 5. He's too good. He's too powerful. His boxing's too slick. He doesn't quite have the defensive work of Topuria, but I think there's an argument to be made that you could say he hits just as hard. Maybe a little bit less hard, because Topuria obviously is different. But Douglas is a dog, man. I think if any unranked featherweights really have a chance, it's going to be him. I mean, I was considering going with Danny Silva. He's really good. But, we've already seen him lose to current featherweights. And, he went competitive with Kevin Vallejos, however you say it. But just the fact that we know that there's this person in featherweight that can beat him. Larion Douglas, he has losses, but he's improved so much since these losses. We don't really know how he matches up against the current featherweights. Like, you can't tell me that this guy doesn't finish Josh Emmett in the first round. You can't tell me that this guy doesn't probably beat Yair Rodriguez. I know Yair is very good at striking, but I would pick this guy to beat him. I don't care. I would. I think Larion Douglas is a dog, and I think, honestly, I'm pretty confident he'll make it to the top 5. Then lightweight. This one, it was kind of hard to pick because it's another one of those divisions where I don't really see any of the unranked fighters going on a title run. I think if anybody at all can do it, though, I'd have to say Quillen Salkild. I mean, how can you not like Salkild after his performances? Obviously, he made easy work of Malarkey. Jamie Malarkey is not that good. Everyone who's good should be making easy work of Jamie Malarkey. But I think what really impresses me the most is the Haqparast performance, because I don't want to sound like Joe Rogan, but genuinely nobody does that to Haqparast. Haqparast is a good fighter. He hadn't been knocked out since 2020 by Drew Dober. That's 6 years ago. And Salkild put him out in the first round. He was on, a 5-fight win streak? He's a good fighter, man. I really, he's obviously not going to win the belt. Not in a division that has Ilia Topuria, Charles Oliveira. He's not going to win the belt, but he could make a good run. I think he's a very, very talented fighter. What more can I say that hasn't already been said about Quillen Salkild, though? Everybody knows how good he is. Next, for the welterweight division, I went with someone who has not always been a welterweight, Miktikbek Orolbai. This guy is scary. Obviously, he had that split decision loss to Raumbetsky. Maybe not the greatest look, but I think what it did prove, to me at least, when I look at that fight alongside all his other fights, this guy doesn't really have a glaring weakness in his skill set. He's got good striking, great power. We saw what he did to Jack Hermanson. He put him out cold with a grazing shot. Miktikbek Orolbai hits like a truck. He's got really good grappling. He basically just ragdolled Chris Curtis. And a lot of his wins are aging really, really well. I mean, he got a round 2 finish over Uros Medic in his UFC debut. And I mean, I've been high on Uros Medic. He's a dog. We know how good Medic is. And Orolbai, he submitted him. He has a round 1 finish over Musayev, who just, he shouldn't have won, but he cheated. But he did just beat Ignacio Bahamondes, which is a good win, even though he did cheat. I just think after every performance, Orolbai impresses me more and more with what he's able to do. And obviously, the Chris Curtis fight wasn't the most entertaining, but he completely dominated him. He ragdolled him. He took him down at will. It wasn't even difficult for him. It was easy. Welterweight's obviously, it's a good division. And obviously, the champion being Islam isn't really good for anybody. But, if anyone unranked was going to make a run, I think it would be Orolbai. My next pick that's going to get me accused of recency bias, middleweight. I went with Yusri Belgarui. Listen, I've been high on him. I said he was going to either win a decision or knock out Abdul Malik in the 3rd round. He knocked him out in the 3rd round. He faced no adversity. In his last 3 fights, he's been completely dominant. He lost to Marco Tullio, I believe it was, in the Contender Series 3 years ago. He's made so many improvements since then. Obviously, we know this guy. He's fought Pereira 3 times in kickboxing. He has a win over him. He fought Izzy twice in kickboxing. This guy's striking is elite. He looks like he's just out there having his way with his opponents. But the takedown defense has been insane. I don't know what he's learning training with Pereira and Glover Teixeira, but he completely dominated Bakoev. completely dominated Mansur Abdulmalik. The guy's faced no trouble. I've been super high on him. I think he's gonna make a really deep run. I see him as a future top 3 opponent, or a top 3 middleweight. I mean, obviously it's hard to say anybody can be champ in a division where the champion's Khamzat Chimaev, but if Khamzat Chimaev ends up moving up to light heavyweight trying to get the second belt, don't sleep on Yusri Belgarui. I think he's a tough fight. I'd pick him against a lot of the top contenders. I think he'd destroy Brendan Allen. I think he would destroy Anthony Hernandez. I think he would beat Sean Strickland, and I'm pretty confident in picking him. Obviously, I think he'd beat Adesanya, sadly. I think he'd beat DDP. I mean, it sounds crazy. It sounds like I'm overly glazing, but I'm just like, this guy just impresses me so much. I'm so high on him. I think you need like an elite grappler to really beat this guy. And other than Khamzat, I don't really think the top of middleweight really has any elite wrestlers. Abdul Malik is a wrestler, maybe not elite, but he's a wrestler, and Belgarui just completely dominated him. This guy's so impressive. He looks better every single fight. He's kind of old, but with a performance like that, he's probably going to get catapulted up, probably get a ranked fight. If not, he's one fight away. I think this is someone to look out for in the middleweight division. And then, light heavyweight division. I promise this is not recency bias. I got all of these people's fights spot on. This is not recency bias. Light heavyweight is just super weak when it comes to the unranked fighters. I went with Navajo Sterling. Like I said, light heavyweight, super, super weak when it comes to unranked fighters. Navajo's good though. He has a really good striking, and in the heavier divisions, that's going to take you a long way because there's a lot of really, really not so skilled fighters in these divisions. And I mean, he just completely destroyed Bruno Lopez like I said he was gonna. Do I think this guy's a future champ? No, I don't. I think he could make it to the top 5 though, or at least the top 10. He has a very good skill set. I think he's super talented. I there's only so much I can say. He's just a talented striker. I think he trains with Adesanya City Kickboxing. I could be wrong about that, but I'm pretty sure he does. Not much to say about these heavier divisions, though. It's the unranked division, the unranked section of these divisions is super weak. And same with heavyweight for my next pick, which was Mario Pinto. Obviously, a lot of people are jumping off the hype train after his last fight. The fact that he went to a decision with Felipe Franco. It's not the best look, but, I don't think I'm not ready to completely count him out yet. I don't think he really has a championship ceiling, especially not in a division that's going to have both Pereira and Aspinall. But I think this guy could make it to the top 5. I think he gives a lot of good heavyweights trouble. I think, I would for sure pick him to beat someone like a Rizvan Kuniev. I think I'd be able to pick him pretty comfortably in that fight. He made pretty easy work of Jonathan Deniz, however you say it. He made easy work of Austin Lane, even though everybody makes easy work of Austin Lane. And I want Pinto to succeed really bad because he's a funny guy. I think he's like the type of personality the heavyweight division really needs because this division just sucks, man. It's so bad. So many blobs. But yeah, that's it. Those are my picks. I mean, if I were to pick one that I'd say that I'm the most confident in, I'm really high on Belgarui. I really think he's going to make it far in the division, and I'm going to look really silly if he gets fraud checked in his next fight. But yeah, this was the unranked fighter in every division that I think has the best chance to go on a title run. Thank you to anyone who watched. Thanks for the support. And yeah,